Greetings, class. Today's presentation will be from John Dewey's Experience in Education, Chapters 4 and 5. Many of the overlapping themes of the first three chapters are further expanded on in the subsequent chapters. As Dewey begins Chapter 4, he reiterates the importance of continuity and interaction from Chapter 3 and how it places value on experiences. He expresses the importance of being able to conceptualize his philosophy of experience as a concrete idea and not just as an exhibit of inconsistencies and confusions. Furthermore, in Chapter 4, John Dewey delves into the significance of self-control in the classroom by looking at self-control through the lens of everyday life. It is arguable that indeed it is an innate instinct for individuals, especially young children, to be sociable. Dewey uses the analogy of games and playing them by the rules as an example of how children instinctively know how to maintain social control. In reference to a classroom, the control should also be social in the means that all individuals play an active role in their learning environment, or in other words, their communities, and that they are not just mere outside observers. In many of your traditional classrooms, social control is totally dictated by the teacher. But Dewey notes that these teachers keep order because order is in the teacher's keeping instead of residing in the shared work being done. I'm sure many of you can attest to personal educational experiences where teachers operated in this manner. However, with a progressive classroom, Dewey states that the primary source of control resides in the very nature of the work done as social enterprise in which all individuals have an opportunity to contribute and to which all feel responsible. As future educators, you may be wondering, how do I create this type of community-based learning environment? Or even, what about those students who seem to be opposed to social activities and prefer to be isolated? Well, the answer lies in careful thought, advanced planning, and knowledge of students. Dewey notes that it is imperative that educators create an organization in which all individuals have an opportunity to contribute something and in which the activities in which all participate are chief carrier of control. Educators should act as facilitators of educative experiences and not mere external bosses or dictators. In regards to those students who seem to be opposed to social activities, it is important as an educator to discover as best as he or she can the causes for recalcitrant behaviors and to seek ways to connect to those particular students. In conclusion of Chapter 4, Dewey states that one of the most important lessons of life is that of mutual accommodation and adaptation. Continuing on to Chapter 5, the other side of the problem of social control is the nature of freedom. Dewey points out that the most significant freedom is the freedom of intelligence, which consists of the freedom of observation and freedom of judgment. Additionally, he adds that the freedom of movement is also important in a classroom community. An assertion that Dewey implies is the freedom of intelligence allows students to frame purposes, judge wisely, and evaluate their desires by indulging in a natural reflective manner of stopping and thinking. Dewey is against the limitations in a typical traditional classroom that puts restrictions upon intellectual and moral freedom. He also argues the importance of increased outward freedom, but that it varies from individual to individual. A sound body is just as important as a sound mind, which supports the notion of the freedom of movement, which essentially is important to physical and mental health. Dewey states lack of freedom prevents even a mature individual from having the context which will provide him with new material upon which his intelligence may exercise itself. However, it should be noted that even with freedom, it should be exercised in moderation because there is no intellectual growth without some reconstruction and some remaking. In essence, the teacher gains the responsibility of teaching the students self-control in order for them to maintain respect for the classroom, community, and society. Overall, both chapters 4 and 5, teachers are instructed to resist their traditional authoritative roles and step in as the most mature members in a classroom community who are there to lead the younger members to a respectful learning experience. I hope that you guys enjoyed the presentation. I look forward to hearing your discussions, which are also available online.
Created using Powtoon.